Greetings, programs! Welcome back to CK2 and a bit of a mess. Because as we ended the last episode, well, I declared war on England with a de jure claim on Leicester. And some of my oh-so-loyal vassals took this as a good opportunity to stab me in the back and have a nice little civil war. So I could go mad and try and fight both, which is, I mean, unless I was lucky and or very, very smart, I would say probably about like a 75% chance of failure. I would say there's probably not a great chance of me actually pulling that off. So what I'm going to do instead is do the sensible thing, because this is a de jure claim. I'm not going to lose this claim. Is I offer white peace to England and hope they take it? And the answer is no. What happens if I surrender? If I surrender, that costs me a whole bunch of gold, which is not good. Do I have any mercenaries raised at the moment? That's a thing we should check. Because just in the interval between last time and this time, I forgot if we had any mercenaries. No, we don't have any mercenaries this time around. So that puts me in the hole financially. We're only losing a little bit of cash, but that would have negative effects on the rest of the country. But it would end the war, and I am willing to pay this price to end the war. 200 prestige is actually not that bad. It's the financial cost that is going to really... in fact, it's only 100 prestige that I'm going to lose, so that's fine. But yeah, the financial cost is pretty hefty. So we're going to do that. We're going to offer a surrender, because by surrendering, we're essentially just giving up money. We're not actually giving up any land or titles or anything like that. So that's fine. March those troops back there so we're not losing any more to attrition. And we also have various... Oh yeah, of course I've got my Scottish armies that are in France. So what we'll do... Wow, France is a bit of a patchwork. We'll actually stand those down. That'll save me a little bit of cash. There's probably... I can never remember. You'd think there's definitely a hotkey for standing down an army. But I guess I just have never remembered that. So we're just waiting for England's response now. And there we go. Right, so that has actually put me less in the hole than I thought it would. But that's fine. So lack of funds. We're going to have things like robber bands and various things that happen to various provinces. So that's not fantastic, but never mind. We've also got various messages. Vassal levies raised. So they're going to be a little bit unhappy. But that's fine. Why can we imprison these people? Are there further plots or factions? There's an independence faction for the the Count of Dijon, but that's not particularly important. So yeah, we're just going to run in and steamroll these dirty rebels and hope that we can pick our fight sufficiently well, because combined they actually have a fair few forces. I wonder if Dumfries has raised some mercenaries. Maybe we could actually check that. Alright, military screen. Yes, they have. So they are... they're being bled for quite a lot of credits at the moment. It might even be... Well, actually, I don't know if the AI plays by the same rules. Like, logically, I can say, oh, I just draw the war out and they run out of money. And then the mercenaries turn on them. But the AI might actually cheat to the extent of that couldn't happen. And this isn't a war I can afford to roll over on, because this is a war for the Crown of Scotland. So, what's the terrain between Dunbar? So that doesn't have... So we could potentially attack into there. Like, if we can get them to attack into me... Right, we don't have like centre leader or anything like that. He's actually a pretty good general, so it's a bit risky, but we'll leave him in. He doesn't have any leader traits. Right, so yeah, these are my three best generals essentially. Right, the plan at the moment is, I think, attack here and maybe draw one or more of these armies into a fight, because combined they have more troops, and that's a problem. And I can't hire more troops, and we are actually losing a bit of cash, even though I did stand down those extra armies. So yeah, we want to pick a fight on terrain of my choosing, essentially. Wait, what are we defending? Oh, probably a trade post. Yeah, it will be a trade post. This is the downside of a rebellious vassal merchant republic. They have money. In fact, we can actually see how much money he's got. He's currently bleeding. Wow, it actually would maybe take a while. But yeah, they have quite a lot of money and they can afford mercenaries. And so that makes them a bit more dangerous in rebellions than just their raw troop numbers would suggest. So yeah, trying to fight against this and England at the same time would be frankly utterly suicidal. So yeah, we're not doing that. It's a pity my army's kind of cut off down here. I'm tempted to try and siege Durham, but that's going to cost me troops and I cannot afford that at the moment. Yeah, I mean, what would be ideal? It would be picking some territory where they get a double penalty. Could we raise boats and maybe move them to some more suitable terrain? Because I want somewhere that's hills and that they'd be attacking over a river. Like Buchan might actually be... yeah, we might be better off fighting around the north of Scotland, to be honest. Right, how many boats can I raise? Not enough of my own, and that would be awful expensive anyway. So what we'll do is I'll raise some vassal boats. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lift that army out of there. That's actually not a bad spot to fight, but really I'm uncomfortable with their armies being so close, and we need more of a benefit essentially to be able to maximize our chances of winning any fight. But it will come at the cost of potentially some provinces being sieged. Right, so we've had a son. I'll just check. Just check other vassals for opinion at the moment. I think we're actually all right with the remaining vassals. I don't even think like these. Like he's still plus 20. This is actually still. It's one of those situations where it's not necessarily based on how much they like you, it's more the AI being opportunistic and making a power grab. I don't know, it must factor in the AI's ability to hire mercenaries when it's making the calculation of do we trigger this rebellion or not, because on their own I don't think they had enough troops. If you take out the 5,000 mercenaries, our armies, they'd still have a few more troops. But our armies would be a lot more evenly matched. So yeah, we're going to start losing tax from various provinces. Right, so we need the rest of these boats to turn up, basically, which is going to... actually, some of those are dropping off, but that's because some of those are the... right, we can actually... we don't need those boats there. So yeah, we're going to embark army, and we're going to bring Buchan's not a bad spot for it, but we kind of like the ball is in their court at the moment. Ideally I'd have them attack across there, or maybe attack, I don't know, it's trying to provoke the fight that's the hard part. But anyway, yeah, we'll move the army to Buchan for now, and hopefully we won't lose... we shouldn't lose too many troops. Or am I thinking of EU4 when you lose troops if you have them in boats too long? Maybe? I don't know. Just had a thought, we could also do the Jewish moneylenders thing. Borrow 300 gold. No, it's not worth it at the moment. Maybe once we're back in a positive balance, but because we're still going to be in a negative balance, and it's just the fact you're in a negative balance. It's not how much you're in a negative balance that affects the the various things that can happen. So we can... I could stand down the boats, or do I just want to have them hanging around to be on the safe side? I don't know, but we could also maybe shuffle the... there we go, so the army's a little more even. Oh, actually, that's ended up with that flank being a bit weaker, but anyway, that's not super ideal. So, do I... Oh, this is annoying. I need them to come and attack me. I can't attack them, especially not around here where there's lots of provinces with river crossings. We're already at a potential disadvantage, so yeah, this is a bit annoying, to be honest. We're actually going to fast forward a little bit, see how it works out. Because what works in my favour is that the troops they've raised are suffering from attrition as they are sieging. The downside of them having mercenary troops, however, is that mercenary troops do replenish. They're the only kind of troops that replenish once they're raised in CK2. Unlike EU4, where you get reinforcements trickling into your armies. In CK2, the only reinforcements happen once you've stood down the armies and, you know, the population is given time to make more babies, basically, to go into your armies. Oh, there we go. My kin, whoever this is to me. Oh God, he's the. He's a genius. I mean, we're all geniuses, the McJedis, but yeah. Did I notice him previously? Is he? Yeah, I must have done because I'm his. Yeah. Anyway, he's a genius and deceitful. He'll make a proper McJedi. Anyway, yes, he'd be nice as a, you know, a thingammy someday, potential king. So what was I saying? Yes, ideally they would lose troops, and if we can drag this through the winter, they're sieging through the winter, but the problem is we're in July at the moment, so that's quite a ways away. We need a new steward, and that's a bit of a no-brainer. He's far away and ahead the best, and he has the ambition to become steward, so... There we go. We could maybe set him to collect taxes, in fact. Yeah, I think that's probably the smart plan at the moment. Just check our tech levels as well. Like, this would be a really great time to have a military tech level available, but as it is, no. There are a couple. We could either go into, like, construction or... Construction's probably the most useful. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get construction unlocked. There's also religious customs, which, you know what, we might as well do that because that gives us now +8, just free bonus opinion with our religious vassals. So that's all good. Right, we haven't actually looked at allies. That's another thing. These are all maybes. Right, Scotland 2... I don't know if they'd be likely to respond to this. If I could get some allies in, that would actually give us... We'll just spam the ally invitations. And yeah, Gallic will help us. Yeah, I didn't think they would. Yeah, if we could get some allied troops going on. No, to the wretched King Dorjander III. She doesn't like me very much. I think I've nominated her as, you know, the Tannist at some point. At least I think I have. That was a lot of thinks in that sentence. Yes, Duke of Gwynedd will. And the Duke of Ulster will. Who's that? Deheubarth as well. So that's going to be at most like a couple of thousand more troops. A couple of thousand more troops might actually work well in my favour. Oh. Okay, the recording might have wigged out a bit there. I accidentally hit the Windows key, which brought up the start, you know, slider and temporarily blipped Bandicam. Well, I don't normally do that, but okay, never mind. Technical issues. So they are losing troops, but because it's not winter yet, and they're not forcing the sieges, but most of these places are actually pretty well fortified, so they're not going to be forcing the sieges. So there goes Sterling. And I'm not sieging myself because I don't want to waste the troops. I can't afford to waste the troops. Which is, it's annoying being on the back foot, but I absolutely cannot go on the offensive right now. How are we doing with... Okay, it's just a random person died in my court, never mind. Crusade for Jerusalem fails. Yeah, that was going on, wasn't it? Let's take a look, see. Well, I mean, obviously it failed, but anyway. Nothing too interesting going on over there, I guess. Although HRE's is Bohemia rebelling, yes they are. A bit of a fight going on there. Siege of Roxborough lost. So I'm losing some war score. Which is, I need them to come and fight me. Come and fight me. Fight me IRL. Or, well, actually, no, don't fight me IRL. I'd lose horribly. I can seize money from the church, but it's not going to be enough to... I'd lose one stewardship. Compromise with them to find at the cost of 50 prestige, but I'd actually gain some piety out of that. Why not? Okay. 50 gold and 25 piety is fine. And I've actually kind of screwed Ulster because now they've got a peasant rebellion going on. This is sort of working out. They have lost troops. They've lost maybe 2,000 troops, maybe not quite that much. So it's sort of working out, but we've been through the winter and it's not had a massively negative effect as I'd hoped it would. Lose 16 gold. Sure, why not? What's 16 gold at the moment? We were already so much in debt. Come on, come and fight me. Come and fight my armies. You're being boring. You're being really boring, just sieging everything. But if they wanted to win this war via sieges alone, they'd have to siege a lot more than that. Shall I see if I can... Shall I see if I can tempt one of their armies to come and fight me? This is risky because it really depends how much this is going to cost me. Monthly attrition. So it's 18k supply and we're just over 18k. So we're actually only going to have a tiny, tiny amount of attrition there. Right, where are these troops going? Oh, they're actually marching down to Wales. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so with the main army, this is, I mean, I'm totally using my allies as just bait right now. Oh, and as I had planned all along, the person they were making the claim for died, I think. They must have done. Grand Mayor's still alive. So, obviously, you know, obviously, this was what I meant to happen all along. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you believe me, right, audience? That this was my grand master plan. Actually, come to think of it, I probably could have set an assassination plot on the guy they were trying to make king, and it just didn't occur to me. So, right, let's have a final check of the factions screen. I think we can stand everything down now. Yeah, that was annoying and costly, but ultimately the person they were trying to put on the throne keeled over, and it's all fine. And it all went according to plan. But it kind of was going according to plan, though. Their main army split off, and that would have let me turn the tide a bit more in my favour. I could maybe, however... Could we like arrange a little imprisonment, perhaps? Or would this be declared as completely tyrannical? Yeah, even though he declared war on me and tried to put somebody else on the throne, I can't just clap him in irons because that's how the game works. So that's a bit annoying. Do we have any plots at the moment? No. We could maybe take our revenge that way and wrong thing. We could maybe arrange for him to fall off a cliff or something. Although apparently nobody wants to join in. Well, that's really annoying. What about the other one, the Duke of Gowrie? Who is... I seem to remember there was a Buchanan around here somewhere, but I think that was one of the other. I can't remember. But I think we've got rid of most of the Buchanans. But yeah, it feels like I should be able to lock these people up. And instead, nada. There is one person willing to join the plot for 10%. For goodness sake. That's just unfair plain. I should definitely be able to lock these people up and, you know, confiscate their lands, take away their money. Even if I could just imprison them and then ransom them and get some money back, because they have cost me so much money. And even though we're now going back into the green, it's going to take a little while to get into a positive balance again. But still, that was really irritating and a waste of time, as it turned out. But we didn't lose the throne, so in that regard, it was entirely successful. But yeah, that is a bit vexatious that the game won't just let me lock them up because the Cassius Belli became invalid. So, I don't know what to do now, actually. This has all taken like 10 minutes or however long it's been. I thought, actually it's been a bit longer than that, hasn't it? But I thought this was going to be a much longer episode and it was been a really long, drawn out, involved war, and instead somebody keeled over and that was that. He actually wants me to help with his armed revolt, so you know what, I guess we will, because he helped us out. So if I, let's say, raise those two. It wasn't a huge army. Yeah, those two should be enough. Actually, I told a lie before. I said it's only mercenaries that can reinforce in the field. Of course, your retinues can reinforce in the field as well. So there you go. There's actually two kinds of troops that can do that. So yeah, as they tried to help me out and got rebellion for their troubles, we'll be good guy McJedi and do the same for them. Also, we should have a third general there. Minik asks, Daddy, where did children come from? Well, you see, when a mummy mouse and a daddy E100 love each other very much, 9 months later, out pops a little life tractor, and there you go. That's the secrets of life. The mysteries of birth unravelled, or something, I don't know. Anyway, what's he got at the moment? Let's just go with that first option. Cynical, diligent, deceitful. I think one of those is probably... like, even deceitful's not that bad. +3 intrigue's actually quite decent for that character. Although their diplomacy was fairly terrible to begin with. Why are you telling me... Oh, because of Tityushi. Of course you're telling me this because of Tityushi. Of course. Right, so, there we go. We got to have at least one fight. That's it. That's the only fight we've had in this particular episode so far. A famous herald well versed in the diplomatic protocol has arrived at our court. He's proposing his services to us, and our main chamberlain is saying we can make good use of this man. Do we have a particularly terrible chancellor? Nah, I think we'll just have the -5 prestige. That's fine. Talking of, is there anyone particularly better we can have? No. I think we're doing all right for people so far. The clergy in Ross is not happy about merchants setting up stalls in all the church squares and demands that it be forbidden. So I can have -2% city tax from Ross, which is fine. We'll go with that one then. This is my award. Coleman. I'm not sure where Coleman came from. It must be in the name list of Jedi names. The fake Scottish Jedi names. There must have been an actual Jedi called Coleman, unless... No, wait, he flipped to becoming fake Scottish, didn't he? So actually, no, that'll be in the Scottish list somewhere, presumably. Assuming that this was a... Yeah, this must have been a Scottish McJedi. So, ambitious. Sure, why not? He actually gets a +2 bump to every stat. He's shaping up to be, like, even if we can't get him to be Tannist somehow, he could make a really good courtier. Let's see. There we go. We won that fight quite conclusively. We can... well, we need to actually get them to home territory. Prince Bishop Macbeth, the Scottish bishop, as we refer to him, has recognised the dire financial situation, so he's going to offer me money, but he wants the Duchy of... No. Actually, we do have... Could I give him the title? That would actually make him... Could I give him... Yeah, I could give him the title of the Duchy... Although, actually, that would give me... yeah, he might... At the moment, he doesn't even have a desires the Duchy thing. If I give him the Duchy title, he will then go, oh, well, that's de jure part of the Duchy, and I want that land as well. So actually, that will give him and his successors an opinion malus against me. So actually, let's not do that. Let's hold on to Durham myself. And I don't think we've got the Too Many Duchies title. The Too Many Duchies thingy. You know, we've only got 2 duchies, which is the most you can hold as a king. I think 3 or more gets you the Too Many Held Duchies modifier. So I am content, apparently. Duke Murig. Oh, he's depressed. Okay, he's not gone crazy or anything. Or if that got rid of depressed. No. It's one of the nice things with the secret societies. Like the secret religious stuff that monks and mystics brought in is like the secret cults. Actually, they're quite annoying. And I mostly disable those when I'm playing up-to-date games of CK2. But the actual societies are quite nice. And the fact that you can, like, if you join the Hermetic Society, you can just cure anyone's depression instantly, which is quite useful. Or, I think you get a similar thing with... Do you get a similar thing with the other societies, or is it just the Hermetics? I might actually be thinking of Way of Life as another way that you can get rid of negative traits like that. If you take the one of the learning focuses, then you get the random pop-up every so often of you can go into meditation, and it's a good way to get rid of demonic possession and anxiety and depression. And actually, I think it is just depression. I don't think there is a separate anxiety thing. Anyway, so he's offering me 200 gold again, but this is, we don't really need it. We're just digging our way out on our own. And also my wife is pregnant at the age of 37, so that's not bad. Yeah, I don't know that we'll get the benefit of, like, unless... How are we doing for troop levels? We're actually almost back up again. Unless this is a new king. No, we're still on cooldown. So we've got a truce until 1333. And if we were to just go back to war, well, it would be not really wise when we're still in the hole financially. So, yeah. But that's the claim we used before. That's why I was so willing to just give up and surrender and take the hit in prestige and cash, because that claim's not going away. We have that duchy. So it's basically impossible to lose that claim. Whereas if it had been another claim, if it had been a claim I'd paid money to fabricate, that would have been far more annoying, because it would have represented lost time and cash that I would potentially have to do all over again. Because Dorjander III is getting on a bit. He's 68, and there's a very good chance he'll pop his clogs before I would be able to fabricate another claim. So actually, let's there's been all these Tanistry messages going on. Who's Tanis Duncan? See, I was right. I am actually supporting Yathura, and she went and stabbed me in the back and said, well, screw you, I'm not helping you, so we're going to pull our vote from her. Tanis Duncan. We'll switch our vote to Duncan, because he's not terrible. He's got some stats that would be buffable, and he's young enough that you could buff him. And compared to Count Edgar of Dijon, yeah. No, I don't think we'd want him as our next king. So, yeah, I think we'll throw our vote behind Duncan of Chalon. So that's fine, that's all good. I would really like to be spending this time improving my infrastructure and just increasing my troop levels, essentially. But, yeah, that really did throw us in the hole. But we're almost out of it now. And we've only been hit with like 2 or 3. Was it even that? I think we had like 1 robber band set up shop in one of our counties, so I think we've actually gotten off pretty lightly considering how long we've been in debt. So there we go. Han, well, that's a good solid name. Han McJedi. And he's quick, which is alright, that's quite nice. Not as good as Genius, of course, but yeah. That's actually quite a gap with the siblings. The eldest, Princess Ayla, is 45, and then we've got 3 and 0 years old. So, yeah. Also, I haven't checked the military. How are we with the... Yeah, they're still... We've been catching up with the retinue cap, but we're still a bit behind. Would this be a good time to... Yeah, we stuck feudal levies up to max, didn't we? I've largely left the rest kind of alone. Yeah, we've got church levies up. We could maybe put the levies up. Put the city levies up. I don't know, how many troops do we currently get from... Like, we can... It would mainly affect them as a vassal, but we've got all the barony level cities as well. So if I sort by, actually 2046, getting an extra chunk, is it worth? I mean, we've already got that permanent -30 penalty for being the wrong government type. I think we'll leave off that. I think we don't want to introduce any more negative opinion modifiers into our relationship with them. I'm vexed. I'm so vexed. I can't just clap him in irons and take all his money. I should be able to. If there was any justice, I should be able to do that. Also, apparently Rachel McJedi needs... nope. That's the wrong thing. Needs... educator. How have we got an English courtier? Ugh, bloody Sassenachs. Whereas me, I'm the most Scottish person ever, right? Anyway, are there any vassals that are fake Scottish and have decent stats? Bishop of Carlisle, although he is possessed, which is not ideal. He's also 73, so he's going to pop his clogs any day now. I actually, talking of bishops, I was playing a recent ish playthrough where I was making a concerted effort to spend as much money as I could afford and just buy as many cardinal places as I could. And it seems to make absolutely no difference whatsoever. I can't figure out that as a mechanic. I've just kind of largely ignored it. There we go, Bishop of Lindisfarne. Deceitful, trustful, cynical. We don't really care about that though. Yeah, because you can, even back in this version of the game, you can do that. You can pump money into getting bishops. In fact, we have cardinals, rather. We have a cardinal right now. But you can't tell your cardinals who to vote for as the next pope. So it's weird. I don't understand this. This mechanic hasn't changed since at least version like 2, and we're up to, I don't even know what version with the game now, but yeah, it just seems like a total waste of money if you do that. There was a random thought for you. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, but anyway. So this might be a good point to actually wrap up the game. We'll maybe take a quick look around Europe. In France is a goddamn mess, and that includes Portugal as well, of course. Can we figure out what's actually going on here? No, that's... Where's the actual... Where's actual... Oh, Aquitaine, there we go. I was looking for France, not Aquitaine. Of course it's Aquitaine. So that's multiple wars going on. Who's this? Ralph Capet, who has managed to basically throw the kingdom away somehow. Yeah, this is all claim wars and an independence war. So there's 2 claim wars and an independence war. So Aquitaine's kind of screwed. That's going to potentially really change the balance of power. And then there's also multiple things going on in the HRE at the moment as well. The Canarian invasion of Aragon. Okay. And the Duke of Lorraine is fighting to claim the HRE, as is the Duke of Saxony. So that's another pair of claim wars. And the Duke of Dauphine as well. Except that's just like a single duke taking on the Holy Roman Emperor. So did Bohemia... Well, they're part of one of those wars. Anyway, so Aquitaine's a mess. The HRE's a mess. Byzantium's actually quite stable right now, it looks like. And the biggest Muslim bloc, the Suhailid dynasty, they look relatively stable right now as well. So it just does seem to mostly be Western Europe that is a complete dog's breakfast at the moment. So let's wrap things up there. This hasn't been the longest episode, and that war was frankly anticlimactic, but as far as the outcome goes, you know, it was what I desired. It's just I wasn't expecting it to get it that way. So yeah, you can never quite predict how this game is going to do things. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can leave any comments below. You can hit the like button. You can sub to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, stay tuned for more.